Hello students, welcome to EPG Pathshala. I am Dr. Arun Singh Thakur from University Institute of Hotel and Tourism Management, Punjab University, Chandigarh. This module considers how far the global warming would take us farther away from sustainable development and also examines the influence of carbon emissions on sustainable development. After completing this module, the students you will be able to first understand the meaning and concept of global warming and its causes and effects, then to understand the difference between the global warming and climate change, then know about the concept of greenhouse effect, then you will be aware about global warming and sustainable development, and to know about the future actions in order to achieve the sustainable tourism development. So the students, let us start. Sustainable development is now an important policy priority for the world. The most commonly used definition of the term sustainable development is one that originated with the 1987 report Our Common Future by the World Commission on Environment and Development states that humanity has the ability to make development sustainable to ensure that it meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. Sustainable development involves coming up with a social and economic system which ensures that rise in real incomes, rise in educational standards, and improvement in the health of the nation as well as enhances the quality of life. The sustainable development is the fact that economy is not different from the environment in which we live. They are rather interconnected with each other because the way we manage our economic status ultimately results in impacts on the environment, and then to ensure the quality of environment again results in impacting the economy. The fast pace of development all over the globe have led to increase in greenhouse gases over the past century. The global warming of the past 50 years is primarily due to this human-induced increase. Global average temperature and sea level have increased and participation patterns have changed. Human fingerprints have also been identified in many other aspects of climate system, including changes in the ocean heat content, precipitation, atmospheric moisture, plant and animal health, and location and Arctic sea ice. The indiscriminate use of chlorofluorocarbons had to be curtailed because of its negative influence on ozone layer and in effect on human health and economic productivity. The use of fossil fuels is driven by the goals of economic growth, and that process is and will continue to affect the global climate. In turn, climate warming and sea level rise will affect the performance of the economies. Sustainable development is feasible and it requires a shift in the balance of the way economic progress is pursued. Environmental concerns must be properly integrated into economic policy at all levels. The environment must be seen as a valuable and essential input to human well-being. In addition to this, guidelines must be laid down as how environmental consideration might be embraced. This would be evidenced as change in our consumption pattern towards more environmentally friendly products and a change in investment pattern towards augmenting environmental capital such that we leave the next generation a stock of quality of life, assets no less than those we have inherited. According to a report by the World Conservation Strategy of 1980, the development and conservation are equally necessary for the discharge of our responsibility as trustees of natural resources for the generation to come. Carbon is an important greenhouse gas, and its presence in the atmosphere in the recent times has led to an increase in the Earth's atmosphere, a phenomena called as global warming. Now, what is called as global warming? Global warming refers to an average increase in the Earth's temperature, which in turn causes changes in the climate. Rise in the temperature is due to the rise of the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere because of burning of fossil fuels such as coal, gas, and oil, and by cutting down the forest for the construction of the buildings. The global warming refers to the rising average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere and oceans, which started to increase in the late 19th century and is projected to keep going up. Now, students, let us understand the difference between the global warming and the climate change. Global warming and the climate change are two different terms. So, the term of global warming should not be confused with the climate change. The explanation further will help you understanding the difference between these two terms. The first is global warming. Global warming refers to the increase of the Earth's average surface temperature due to a buildup of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. And climate change is a broader term that refers to long-term changes in climate, including average temperature and the precipitation. Now, we all know about the greenhouse effect, which refers to when the temperature rises because the sun's heat and the light trapped in the Earth's atmosphere. The temperature rises because the light and the heat entered the atmosphere but could not get out. Now, let us study what are the causes of the global warming. There are various causes of the global warming, and the first is the pollution. The major cause of global warming is the pollution from the burning of the fossil fuels such as coal, natural gases, and oil that leads to greenhouse gases and deplete the ozone layer. The carbon dioxide from the airplanes and the vehicles. The carbon dioxide that is being released from the airplanes and the vehicles is also a major cause for the global warming. Then comes the population increase. Another major cause of the global warming is the population increase. As the population increases, the solid waste increases. That leads to pollution, and pollution leads to further global warming. Then comes the deforestation. Cutting off the trees for the construction of the buildings, homes, roads, etc. is the major cause of the global warming. Further, we will highlight what are the effects of the global warming. There are various effects of the global warming, which are the rise in the temperature. The major impact of the global warming is the rise in the temperature in the past few decades globally. The second point is the weather in the recent winters. Recent winters were the warmest winters ever recorded. 10 out of the past 14 years are the warmest on the record. The melting of the glacier and the ice cap. Evidence of an unnatural weather change is extremely responsible in the current dissolving of the ice sheets and the glaciers. Two places where melting has become extremely noticeable are Antarctica and the Greenland. One problem with this is that much less heat is absorbed by the snow than by water, thus worsening the effect as the ice retreats. One area of specific concern is the Himalayas. One third of the world's fresh drinking water comes from runoff from this glacial system. A direct consequence from our polluting actions will be the disappearance of these vital glaciers, rising of sea level is the next point we'll discuss. Possibly the greatest risk brought by the global warming is the quick ocean level changes. Both Greenland and the western Antarctica are depleting at stunning rates. Not all of the global warming's effects are unprecedented. Now, further, we'll discuss what is sustainable development and why it is important. The development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their own needs. According to the Brundtland Commission report, sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present generations without compromising the needs of the future generations. So, it can be defined as the development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of the future generations to meet their needs. The evolution of sustainable development, in spite of having been authored without precedent for 1980 by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature, the idea of sustainable development will just pick up notoriety in 1987 after the report of the World Commission on Environment and Development titled Our Common Future, frequently alluded to as the Brundtland Report, was distributed. The report called for a long-haul ecological techniques to accomplish reasonable improvement by 2000. Indeed, a quarter century later, not a lot has been accomplished. The condition of the earth has become more terrible and the atmosphere is warming, making arrangements for environmental advancement stays like never before focal issue. The idea of feasible advancement gives a system to the synchronization of improvement procedures with ecological strategies. Sustainable development has been presented in the report of Brundtland Commission as one which addresses the issue of the present generation without compromising with the needs of the future generations to meet their needs. Such improvement implies a reasonable economic development that must be socially fair and environmentally bearable. It promises for saving characteristic assets to the following areas while averting extreme ecological contamination. This requires the individuals who are more affluent adopt the lifestyles within the planet's ecological means as growing population in the developing nations increase pressure on the natural resources and the environment. It additionally pledges to eliminate poverty by stretching out chances to a superior future and life. To achieve sustainability, it is important to ensure that economic growth and population are in harmony with ecosystems. What are the aims of sustainable development? The aim of sustainable development is to maintain balance between one's economic, environmental, and social needs, allowing prosperity for present generation and future generation and educating the residents to use the natural resources efficiently and effectively so that it can be used by the future generations as well. Sustainable development encourages us to preserve and enhance the natural available resources. Then students, let us know about the need of sustainable development. The sustainable development has now become the core global concern. Natural available resources are rare and limited due to the scientific and technological advancement, the population explosion, ever growing and diversifying materialistic demands, the wrongly trying to master the natural processes for own convenience and comforts, then the greenhouse effect, then comes the depletion of the ozone layer, changing meteorological patterns, increase in geotectonic consequences, the rapid extinction of animal and plant species, alarmingly depleting natural resources. Consequently, sustainable development and sustainable resource use have taken a central stage in all kind of planning. Then further, let us understand the pillars of the sustainable development. There are mainly three pillars of sustainable development, which are independent and commonly strengthening are as following. The first is economic development, the second pillar is the social development, and the third is the environmental protection. It is also important to understand the sustainability principles. There are sustainability principles which we'll discuss as the first is reduce reliance upon non-renewable energy sources, underground metals and minerals, then reduce reliance upon manufactured chemicals and other unnatural substances, then to reduce infringement upon nature, then to meet human needs efficiently and effectively. Then comes what are multiple crises inhibiting sustainable development. They are the climate crisis, the food security crisis, the energy price volatility, the economic and financial crisis. Now after that, students will discuss the costs and benefits of sustainable development. So first of all, we'll discuss the cost. The sustainable development risk of over abuse is there, investment on research and development is there, then investment supporting and required infrastructure need to be developed. It requires to compromise and communication on the many fronts, then investment for spreading awareness and providing education need to be there. The cost is also there for requires the determination of the contended claims for the forest and the land. Then comes the benefits. Sustainable development involves local residents and provides them employment opportunities and education as well. It also brings economic gains which helps in preserving the area and purchasing technology for further scope of the improvement. It promotes the diversification of the forest products including non-wood forest product. It also helps to preserve the natural resources of the area. Now we'll discuss about the stakeholders of the sustainable development. There are various stakeholders of sustainable tourism development and which are as the first one is the private sector manages and operates to tourist attractions and other facilities that help to make the profits. The government sectors which owns and run public facilities and attractions. Setting up of the rules and regulation is also the duty of the government sector. Then comes the NGOs. The non-government organizations are one of the investors in promoting sustainable tourism. They are responsible for various tasks from reasonable sustainable tourism practices to simply just doing research. The local communities are the next. The local people benefit from the sustainable tourism practices through economic development, creation of job opportunities, and development of local infrastructure such as roads, hotels, airports, and bus stands that will help to bring economic growth and prosperity to attractive tourist destinations, which help to enhance the living standard and the lifestyle of the local residents. Sustainable tourism stakeholders are investors and promises to create employment opportunities for the local residents of the destination. Increase in the tourism revenue to an area acts as a catalyst for the development of infrastructure at the local area. Now we'll discuss what need to be done for managing sustainable development. The first and the important thing is the implementation of the concept of carrying capacity. It represents the power of the utilization. A specific situation can remain over a decided time frame without harming its reasonable potential for the separate utilize. The various types of carrying capacity are: the first is the physical capacity, which ensures the number of visitors a place can physically oblige. Then environmental capacity, where number of guests that can be adjusted before harm to be brought about the earth or the biological community. Then the economic capacity, the number of the tourists that can be welcomed comfortably without facing any economic problem at the destination. Then comes the social capacity, the quantity of individuals beyond which the social interruption harm will happen. The perpetual capacity, the quantity of individuals a destination can welcome before the quality of experience of tourist encounter starts to be unfavorably influenced. Then infrastructure capacity, the quantity of visitors that can be adjusted comfortably by the infrastructure available at the particular destination. Secondly, the need of the government interventions. A central authority takes mandatory measures to reduce environmental degradation in order to prevent pollution and control. Thirdly, the economic approach, which considers taxes should be enacted to reduce environmental degradation. Then comes the self-regulation, industry taking its own responsibility for its own functioning. Then education is another important measure which focused upon providing knowledge to the tourist on developing more sustainable behaviors at the tourist destinations. Then monitoring, effective monitoring of the schemes implemented and taking remedial measures. Then marketing and information services to encourage product offerings and minimize seasonality by promoting of season opportunities. Environmental management should be done effectively and efficiently. Then there should be a focus upon the cleaner production. Now we'll discuss the measures on controlling the problems. There are various measures on controlling the problems of global warming. The first, we'll discuss the measures on the part of the government. Setting up of the laws that limit the amount of pollutants produced by the factories. Then to encourage the people to use the renewable sources such as the solar energy, the wind energy, etc. Then to encourage the industrialists and the factories to use the renewable fuels instead of the fossils, which help to eliminate the environmental problem. Then further, to carry out energy saving schemes, reduce the pollution produced by the burning of the fossil fuels, grow more plants which help to reduce the pollutants and the chlorofluorocarbons. Then the measures on the part of the citizens, reduce the use of the plastic bags, to encourage the use of the recycled products and reuse the products wherever possible. Then to reduce using sprays, as chlorofluorocarbons might be emitted out. Now the students in the end of the module will discuss the future actions in order to achieve sustainable tourism development. The first is promoting local destinations. The travel to the long distances, it costs both environmentally as well as economically. So, locally developed destinations and motivations to the tourist to visit to them should be provided. Such trend picked up in the recent past, but most of the time it is forced by the need of the customers rather than the demand of the product, be it financial time constraint or be it psychocentric behavior of the tourist. Industry professionals and the governments can take a lead in managing the destinations in such a way so that they can take over the control over the demand of the tourist to such local attractions. Accommodation industry has already taken a lead in many parts of the world, specifically chain hotels, as they depend on the local area for the procurement of raw materials, sources of the human resource and construction related needs. Then secondly, making a brand image. There are certain industries like food industry which is already marketing its product with the label of the green or the organic products. For most of the customers, sustainability may not matter, but it is the label tag which they attach to their status and consumes those products. Destination management companies have also jumped into promoting their name as responsible tourism company with certifications and accreditations from some agency or sometimes government also. So more such players coming into the market have opened the potential of this niche market going green and sustainable. Then thirdly, there is a need to check the fraud on the name of the green or sustainable tourism. Many service providers are trying to attract the customers on the name of the green tourism and allowing them to play with the nature at the cost of unsustainable practices. There are many incidences of poaching and disturbing the wildlife reported in the past, even in the protected areas such as the national parks and the wildlife sanctuaries as well. Business leaders and regulating authorities must therefore be attentive not to let the business practices jumping wagon going out to the market. Then the next point is the more opportunities, changed lifestyle, contracted natural spaces in urban settings, degraded environment are certain factors which advocates the more opportunities in coming future for sustainable type of tourism. It can further be concluded that in the times to come, nature-based tourism will be the more of premium type of tourism and demand for the same would be on the rise always. Thus, it is right time for the government and destination developers to initiate actions for development of more and more destinations and products offering sustainable type of tourism. The next is designing tourism product with zero impact. With the growing concerns for the global warming and ever increasing demand for the energy in the world, it is the need of the hour to switch to the renewable and the clean energy sources. There is need to shift the dependency of transport and accommodation industry entirely to the solar or electric energy. There are few more suggested actions. The government should appoint a green coordinators who will follow the specifically designed sustainability policy in true letter and spirit. Then a workplace travel for staff must be made mandatory in the practice for all the organizations like sharing transport, etc. Also, tourists can be motivated to travel through the public transport, or maybe cycle can be provided wherever it is possible. Then waste disposal systems need reinvention specifically for the accommodation industry. The lighting in the hotels and the public spaces should be replaced by energy efficient LED technology. Water saving practices needs a revolution. For example, we can use low flush toilets, and regular maintenances of pipelines can save a lot of water. So, dear students, let us summarize what we have learned in this module. In the end, we can say that the global warming affect the sustainable development of the nations. The impact of global warming are likely to hit developing countries at the hardest. In Africa, global warming threatens the availability of the fresh water, food security, and the productivity of the natural resources. The waterborne and the vector-borne diseases pose a special threat to the regions with inadequate health infrastructures. The coastal zones could be severely damaged by the erosions and sea level rise, while the areas prone to desertification will experience intensification of that problem. Asia and even other parts of the world are threatened by the degradation of the permafrost, increased surface runoff, and more frequent and intense forest fires. Tropical monsoons and cyclones could become more intense, threatening Asia's crop production, biodiversity, and the human health. All in all, we can conclude that the sustainable tourism goals can be achieved if sought the participation of the public at large. Thank you.